Hi everybody, Michelle and Stephen from livewiseproject.com. As the title suggests, today we're going to talk about gratitude. Now, before you all get worried that we're going to get a little bit new age or woohoo on you, you can relax.
Where are the crystals and the incense?
You can relax. When we're talking about gratitude, we're not talking about the laws of the universe or abundance or anything like that. We're looking at gratitude as a key component to well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. And believe it or not, there have been many studies done on gratitude. But one of them was interesting because they got a group of people and split them up into three different groups. One group was told to write down each night what they were grateful for. Second group was told to write down the things that annoyed them throughout the day. And yeah, it'd be a long list. It'd be a couple of hours, I think. And the third group was told to just write whatever popped in their mind, just random things that happened. And so at the end of the study, what they found was the group that was writing down what they were grateful for said they had a higher level of well-being, which essentially means that they were happier, they were healthier, they were doing things, they were more inclined to do things to help them physically, emotionally, and mentally. Things like eating properly, training, meditation, whatever it was. There is a lot of science to it. It's not just, people, hippies and things like that into it. There is quite a bit of science to it.
So it's obviously a very simple but effective way to transform your mindset and as a result your experiences. So it's as simple as recognizing the things that you do have in your life that bring you joy instead of focusing on the things that you perceive that you're lacking.
Yeah. And one of the things that people don't really realize is that the brain has an ability to pattern match. So what it will do, it will recognize what you're focusing on most, and it will bring to your awareness things that best suit that or match that. For example, when you decide to buy a car, all of a sudden you see that particular car everywhere. Now, they didn't just appear out of nowhere, but because you're focused on them, your brain decided that was the thing that was important to you. So now all of a sudden you see these cars everywhere. And it's the same with gratitude, or being ungrateful. If you are focusing on things that you're grateful for, your brain will bring into your reality, your awareness, more things that you can be grateful for. That's pretty much how it works.
Yeah, so the key is awareness though. It's you becoming aware of those things. So, and it should be felt deeply. It's not an intellectual thing, although obviously you might express it through intellectual means, either by writing it down or talking about it. But it really is designed to be felt deeply. We've all had those moments when we've kind of been stopped or caught up in a moment and experienced that sense of awe and joy. Now, because obviously family is one of my highest values, I quite often experience it in those moments. So for instance, when Sienna was a little girl and she'd be caught up and playing, and there was just this sense of joy and life, like she was just in absolute bliss and the world stopped around her. And I just remember feeling this deep sense of gratitude, not just because for her and the gift that she is, but those lessons that she's constantly teaching us in terms of to stop and really not get so caught up in the day-to-day things and I've got to do this and that, and actually enjoy the moment and be present. And she teaches us things all the time. So obviously I'm grateful for her and, I love her deeply. But it's not just her, it's the lessons she brings to us. So, and in those moments, you kind of just get caught up in it and you just stop it. And I feel it sort of on a really deep level. And so it's not just about, awareness. It's not just intellectual. We really need to kind of feel it as well. And I would say that the aim is not to make a gratitude practice robotic.
Yeah.
Now, quite often you'll hear people say, every morning when you get up, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, or every evening before you go to bed, write down the 3 things that you're grateful for. And when you start up a practice like that, it can kind of feel like you're just writing a list. I'm grateful for the sun that was shining. I'm grateful that for my kids and my husband. And we don't feel it on a deep level. So the idea is for it not to be robotic. They give us that simply to try and get us into a habit of recognizing those things. So it does kind of feel, if it doesn't come naturally to you, particularly if you're more inclined to be sort of see the negative, it can take a little bit of practice, and that's why they often give us those kind of strategies.
Yeah, but the point of these series of videos for us has been to kind of bring clarity around a whole bunch of things that people are into or they want to get into, but they're not sure how it works. And gratitude is one of them. And the reason being is, as we've said, that most people are told just to basically write down a list of things that you're grateful for, and that can work really well. But then after a while, you kind of get the sense that there should be something more to it than just simply writing down a list of things that you're grateful for. And so what we've wanted to do was introduce the ideas that you may not have thought of, or you may have, who knows. But one of them is to, when you're actually sitting down and writing something, it's not just about just writing it, it's about expressing it. So I can feel grateful for something, but if I go up to someone who did something really nice for me and I felt grateful for, I can then simply tell them, hey, you know what, thanks for doing that thing, I really appreciate it. Or I can take them for dinner or buy them something and just kind of give back a little bit to them. And what happens then is when you make someone feel good, the return is that you feel good as well. So, and it kind of, that gratitude, that idea of gratitude kind of circles around and comes back at you. So that's one of the components, is not just simply write things down, is to express your gratitude to whoever it is that made you feel grateful. And so the second one is, did you have something to say about that?
No, that's okay.
Oh, sorry. What was the second one?
So writing those 3 columns of people, places, and things can be a strategy.
Yeah, talk about that.
It's just a matter of, because quite often we think about the things that we have, and we tend to overlook then. Yes, things can be important. They can certainly make our lives easier, and we can be grateful for the fact that we have enough food on the table, we have a roof over our head, we have clothes, we have possessions that bring us, that entertain us, that bring us a sense of satisfaction or joy. And we often think about our family and our friends and those sorts of things, but often it's the people that I like to look at. It's the people that sometimes push my buttons, and they really know how to push my buttons.
Yeah.
And I kind of tend to bring my awareness to them, and I think about, well, why are they pushing my buttons? Because they wouldn't be there if they didn't serve a purpose. Yeah. And so I find myself, if I, instead of getting annoyed at them, if I put myself in a state of gratitude for them by recognizing what they're allowing me to recognize about myself, or to learn, or to practice patience, or to practice presence, or whatever it might be, I'm much happier, and things don't tend to bother me anywhere near as much.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I just remembered what the second one was. And it's basically firstly to express how you feel, your gratitude. And the other one is, instead of waiting, as most people do, at a particular time to write down the things that you're grateful for, write them down, or try to write them down as they happen in the moment. So if someone does something for you, or something happens, if you have the time to write that down in that moment, it really intensifies that feeling, rather than you trying to remember at the end of the day, or what happened the day before, for example. Try to do it in the moment, and it really kind of expands that idea of gratitude. And really, because the point of it is for you to feel a certain way and for you to stay in that feeling for as long as possible. So
I'll just interrupt,
yeah.
Stephen. I do frequently, so
That's all right.
he's used to it. Don't worry about it. In the age of smartphones, and everyone has a camera with them 24/7 now, and everyone loves a good selfie. If it's a person, ask them if you can take a selfie with them.
Yeah.
Or if it's something, it might be, quite often nature really speaks to me, and I can get that sense of joy or just being. We're very lucky. We live about 10 minutes away from the bay, and it's beautiful. And even walking around the bay, sometimes there's just this light on the water, and it's this shimmer on the water, which again just sort of almost stops me in my tracks. And so taking a photo of that, and you can write about that when you reflect on it at night. So sometimes visuals are great too. If you don't have time to, make notes in your phone or those sorts of things, a quick photo is a good way to jog your memory with that as well.
Yeah. Nature is amazing. It makes you feel so connected, and what we call greatness is, if you want to feel that sense of greatness in a really quick way, just go out into nature. Whether it's trees, or whether it's some water, or if you've got nothing around you, if you're living in a concrete jungle, just go outside and look up into the sky, and then it's just so huge and so grand and so majestic, and that you feel so connected to that, you instantly feel that greatness. The third component, and I think most people miss this one, and I think it's probably the most crucial one, and it's great to make a list of the things that you're grateful for, but what I think would be extremely beneficial is to write down how you felt about that particular thing that you're grateful for. So, for example, if someone did something for you, or if something happened, how did you feel? Did you feel accepted, acknowledged, respected, appreciated, loved? Whatever it was, write that down next to the thing that you're grateful for. Because again, it's about the feeling, and in order for you to stay in that feeling, you need to kind of be clear on how you felt, rather than I'm grateful for such and such. And so the idea is to stay in that feeling for as long as possible. And if you're starting your day, you can start off with that and see how you can transform your day just by staying in that feeling for as long as possible. And if you're doing it at night, see how you wake up the next day from your sleep, going to bed with those feelings of whatever it was, not just gratitude, but acceptance, acknowledgement, love, respect, connection, whatever those feelings were. So I think they're the three missing components for most people. And if you're really interested in, using this idea of gratitude and getting the most out of it, I think it'd be great if you could start to include these three really crucial components into your practice.
So last two things I'll leave you on. I really feel like this is an important skill that we should be teaching our children from a very young age. You'll hear it everywhere. You see it all over the place in social media, and the way people talk about, kids these days, and there's this sense of entitlement. And I think sometimes it's not so much entitlement, but they've never actually, this age of instant gratification where things come very easily to them and we give them so much, it can be very easy to take it for granted. And I think it's more that we just haven't taught them how to express their gratitude. They are grateful for it, but we haven't given them the skills or the strategy. So this is a great way to do that. I have some really great ideas on teaching gratitude to children. So if you're interested in that, just pop a comment down below and I'll be happy to share those with you. And the other thing I was going to say is simply that we would love to hear what you're grateful for. So if you're willing to share what you're grateful for, again, just pop it in the comments because it uplifts us all. We can all gain from that anyway. Personally, I'm grateful for the support that we have received so far with these videos, and some of it from some really unlikely, from the periphery and some really unlikely sources. But this has been a wonderful venture for us to try and help as many people as possible. So for all those people who've been engaging and liking our videos, who have been sharing them on their personal pages or sharing them with people who they feel can benefit, we say thank you very much. Absolutely. We are incredibly grateful for you and incredibly grateful for those of you who jump on live. We've got 3 people on there at the moment, Helen, Bethany and Jean. Thank you very much. We truly are it's a cliche, but we are on a mission to try and help as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah, we're like the Blues Brothers.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Without the alcohol and drugs.
Well, yeah. Not for many years anyway.
For you, maybe.
We'll get into that in another video.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow night. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.